It was the 24th. I'm not going to tell you which month because honestly it's been every month for about 3 years. I opened the bank app the way you open the bank app on the 24th, slowly, holding the phone a little further from my face than usual, with that vague sense that I was about to see something I didn't want to argue with. I scrolled again. I was looking for a villain. One charge, a $400 something, a surprise auto-renewal. Some single transaction in the data I could point at and go, right, that one, that's where the money went. There was no villain. There were just dozens of normal-size purchases that, individually, all looked like things a competent adult would buy. Together, they had eaten my paycheck. Apart, every one of them had an alibi. It was a perfect crime where every suspect was innocent. I put the phone down, sat there for maybe 10 seconds, picked it up again. And here's the slightly stupid part. I don't really know why I did this. I opened the Notes app and I typed 3 words. 9:47 p.m. Tired. That was it. I'd just bought a $34 dinner I didn't really want. I'd ordered it about 2 hours after eating because I was tired enough that eating again had somehow become a more attractive option than going to bed. I closed the app, then I opened it back up and gave myself one rule, just to see what would happen. Every time I bought anything for the next 90 days, I would type 2 things in that note. The time, and 1 word for how I felt. Not the item, not the amount. The time and the feeling. Nothing else. I figured I'd quit by day 5. Day 5 came, and I was still doing it. Day 12, I started noticing something. By day 30, I had to admit out loud, to nobody, standing in my kitchen, oh no, this is going to make me feel something embarrassing. By day 90, I was looking at the dumbest, most accurate piece of self-knowledge I'd ever produced about myself. 4 words I couldn't unsee. Thursday, Sunday, Friday, Tuesday, same days every week. Not random hours on those days. Specific hours. Thursday around 9:30 at night. Sunday around 4 in the afternoon. Friday around 6. Tuesday almost always around 11. Same days, same hours, different purchases, same person, same feelings. Every single week, like the calendar had a budget I'd never been shown. I'm going to walk you through what those 4 days are. Each one has a personality. Each one is dumber than you think. Here's something I'd never thought about until day 30, and it's almost too obvious to say out loud. We all keep a budget. Almost none of us keep a calendar of our feelings. We know how much we make. We know roughly what we spend. What we don't know is that we're sad on Sunday at 3:47 in the afternoon, every week, like a clock. But we are. And the sadness is buying things. We just don't connect the two, because money lives in one drawer of the brain and feelings live in another, and nobody ever told us those 2 drawers are the same drawer. Most adults aren't randomly anything. We're scheduled creatures wearing the costume of spontaneous people. You don't randomly feel exhausted at 9:30 on a Thursday. You feel exhausted because Thursday is the day in your week when Monday through Wednesday has caught up to you, and Friday hasn't shown up yet to give you a reason to keep going. You don't randomly feel anxious on Sunday at 4. The brain starts preloading the week's stress around then. Every Sunday. The way a phone updates apps at 3 in the morning without asking. We treat these as moods that just happen to us. They don't just happen. They have schedules. The spending follows the schedule, not the other way around. What I'd been doing for years, what I think a lot of you are doing, is trying to fix a calendar problem with a math problem. The math problem says, spend less. The calendar problem says, something happens to you at 9:47 on Thursday, and you respond to it with money. No amount of subtracting fixes that. You can't out-budget a Thursday. Let me give you a number that surprised me. Of every dollar I spent in those 90 days that I couldn't fully justify the next morning, meaning I'd look at the charge and think, right, why did I do that? 73% of those dollars were spent inside 4 windows. 4 out of 168 hours in a week, 4 hours were eating the majority of the regret money, which means the rest of the week, All 164 other hours, I was actually pretty disciplined. I'm not a financial disaster. I'm a financial disaster from 9:30 to 10:30 on Thursday, and from 3:45 to 4:45 on Sunday, and from 6 to 7 on Friday, and from 10:30 to 11:30 on Tuesday. The rest of the week, I'm fine. The problem isn't me in general. It's me at 4 very specific times. So let me introduce you to the 4 people I met during this experiment. They all live in my head. Most of them probably live in yours too. Let me describe a Thursday for you. 9:31 at night. The meaningful work of the day is over. Friday hasn't been earned yet. I'm on the couch. The television is on, but I'm not really watching it. I'm holding my phone the way you hold a phone when you're not doing anything specific with it. That low-grade open app rotation. Inbox. Off. Instagram. Off. Inbox again, even though I just looked. I'm tired. Not sleep tired. The other kind. The kind where the brain has stopped wanting to be a brain. And then, within 90 seconds, and I want to be clear, I don't experience this as a decision, the delivery app is open. Not because I opened it. Because Thursday opened it. Here's what Thursday tired actually is. She's not lazy. She's the version of me that has been making decisions since Monday morning and has run out of decisions. So, when the question, do I want to cook, enters the brain, the answer isn't yes or no. The answer is, I cannot have one more question right now. And the delivery app is the fastest way to make the question stop. The food costs $34. Cooking would have cost about $4. The $30 difference isn't paying for food. It's paying for the question to stop. And the question stopping feels, in that moment, indistinguishable from self-care. It feels generous. It feels deserved. Except the same exact transaction happens next Thursday. And the one after. Thursday. Tired doesn't just buy dinner. Thursday. Tired buys the ride home instead of the train because waiting feels impossible. Thursday. Tired buys the small, expensive thing on the checkout page of an unrelated purchase because deciding no is one decision too many. Thursday. Tired tips heavier than usual because thinking about percentages in a tired brain is annoying. Thursday. Tired buys the wash and fold instead of doing laundry, the cleaning service, the pre-assembled furniture. None of these are wrong. Some of them, sometimes, are absolutely the right call. But many of them, most weeks, are Thursday tired, buying her way out of a life she's too depleted to do herself. Here's the most embarrassing part of the whole experiment. When I went back and looked at the Thursday entries in the Notes app, they didn't just say tired. They all said the same thing, every single one. Tired and I deserve it. That phrase. Same words. Almost like I was repeating a password. Tired and I deserve it. I want to say it again, because saying it twice is what made me see it. Tired and I deserve it. Tired and I deserve it. That phrase was what was unlocking the spending. I deserve it is a sentence the wallet does not argue with. Try arguing with it. You can't. It's the perfect sentence. You worked. You exist. You have a body that gets tired. Of course you deserve it. It's also, it turns out, around $128 a week at my house. Just over $6,500 a year, which is, almost exactly, a vacation I keep telling myself I can't afford. I'm not going to tell you not to order delivery on Thursday. I order delivery on Thursday. What I'm going to tell you is this. Next time you're about to spend money on a Thursday between 9 and 10:30 at night, ask yourself one question. Am I buying this thing? Or am I buying the question to stop? If it's the thing, fine. If it's the question, and you'll know that's Thursday tired. She doesn't need to be denied. She needs to be recognized. Most leaks close just from being looked at. Sunday afternoon, around 4. The light is doing that specific thing it does on Sunday afternoons, where it looks like the same light as Saturday, but it's somehow lower quality. The week is coming. You can feel it the way animals feel weather. What happens in the next 45 minutes is one of the most expensive emotional events on the modern adult calendar. You're going to start preparing for the week, not by sleeping, not by going to bed early, not by eating well, by shopping. Sunday Dread is going to buy the new planner, or the upgraded version of the planner from March, or the planner app subscription, even though the previous planner app subscription is, technically, still active. Sunday Dread is going to buy the meal prep containers, plus the meal prep ingredients, plus the meal prep cookbook, plus possibly a knife. Sunday Dread is going to buy workout clothes for the new routine, not because the old workout clothes are bad, but because new workout clothes are part of becoming the version of yourself who works out. Sunday Dread is going to buy the standing desk converter, the blue light glasses, the $40 water bottle that promises to remind you to drink water, and a $16 tub of protein powder in a flavor she has never had before. Sunday Dread is going to download an app, pay for the annual subscription, and never open it after Tuesday. Here's the trick: Sunday Dread is playing on you. When you buy the planner, your brain rewards you with a little dose of dopamine for becoming the kind of person who plans. That dopamine is supposed to be a down payment, a tiny preview of how you'll feel when you actually plan. But the brain doesn't know it's a down payment. The brain just feels good. And the good feeling, this is the cruel part, replaces the action. By the time you're done buying the planner, your brain has already collected most of the emotional reward of having used it. So when Monday comes, the motivation is already partially spent. You bought the feeling and skipped the doing. Next Sunday, you'll need to buy the feeling again, which is why the planner is always new and the user never is. Sunday, one afternoon a week, 4 hours, 52 times a year, was the single most expensive day in my logging, not because the individual purchases were huge, because they almost always looked reasonable. A book is reasonable. A productivity tool is reasonable. Workout clothes are reasonable. Meal prep is reasonable. 4 reasonable purchases a week, 52 weeks a year, was a lot more money than my Thursday tiredness. The cruel asymmetry, Thursday tired actually delivers something: an actual dinner, an actual ride, an actual washed shirt. Sunday Dread frequently delivers nothing. The planner stays empty. The protein powder hardens into a single solid disk. The app gets uninstalled in March, having charged the annual fee in February. I have in my closet 3 planners from a recent year. 2 are completely empty. One has the first week filled in 2 different colors of pen, like I was negotiating with my future self in real time. The blue pen is the part where I was sincere. The green pen is the part where I was already starting to hedge. By Wednesday of that week, both pens were on the desk, and the planner was on the floor next to the desk, which is where it stayed. None of them changed my life. All of them were bought between 3:30 and 5 p.m. on a Sunday. The planner was never the point. The buying of the planner was the point, and the buying of the planner was always cheaper than actually planning. If any of this is hitting somewhere, leave a like before you forget. It tells me whether to keep making conversations like this one or go back to making something easier. There are 2 more days. Friday is next. And then there's Tuesday, which I almost left out of this whole thing because Tuesday is the one I didn't want to talk about. Friday at 6. The work is officially over. The week has ended. Some part of your brain has decided that for the next 3 hours, you are a different and slightly more glamorous person than you've been since Monday. This is Friday Reward. And I want to be careful with this part because I love Friday Reward. Friday Reward is also expensive. Friday Reward is the takeout that's bigger than the takeout you'd order any other night. Friday Reward is the bottle of wine that's $4 more than the one you'd buy on a Wednesday. Because Wednesday wine is just wine, but Friday wine is a celebration. Friday Reward is the impulse buy you've been queuing up all week. The small thing you saw on Monday, decided to think about, and have now thought about long enough that buying it on Friday feels like an inevitable conclusion to a thoughtful process. It wasn't a thoughtful process, it was a cue. I'm not telling you not to celebrate Friday. Celebrating Friday is one of the few honest pleasures of a working life. The thing is, most Fridays, by the time I got to the celebration, I wasn't actually feeling celebratory. I was feeling relieved. Relief and celebration are different feelings, but the wallet treats them identically. Relief says, "Thank God that's over." Celebration says, "I'm thrilled this happened." One of those is something you do because you finished. The other is something you do because something good occurred. Most of my Friday spending was relief in celebration's clothing, which is fine sometimes, but every week at 6 p.m., same restaurant, same wine? That's not celebrating. That's commuting. I was commuting through a celebration ritual that had stopped feeling like a celebration sometime around year 2. Here's the test I started using. If you'd had a perfect, deeply satisfying Friday, the meeting went well, the project landed, you got the news you wanted, would you still buy this thing? If yes, great. That's celebration. Buy it. If the only reason you're buying it is because the week is over and you need a punctuation mark, that's Friday reward. And Friday reward is a habit that costs around $80 a week to keep running, in my case. You don't have to stop. You just have to know that's what's happening. Okay. The fourth one, I almost cut Tuesday from this video. Twice. Tuesday is the leak day that doesn't have a fun name. Thursday is funny. Sunday is relatable. Friday is glamorous. Tuesday is, and there's no kinder word for it. Tuesday is when something small happens to you and you feel slightly worse about yourself, and you respond to that by buying something that promises to make you a different person. Tuesday is the night you take a course because a coworker got promoted. Tuesday is the night you buy the skincare set because of one comment from one person about one thing. Tuesday is the night you sign up for the gym you won't go to because you saw a photo. Tuesday is, statistically in my data, the most personal of the 4 leak days, because Tuesday is the day the wallet is being asked to repair something the wallet was never built to repair. I bought a $340 set of online courses on a Tuesday at 11:14 at night, after a meeting where I'd felt, for about 10 seconds, like I was behind in my career. The meeting wasn't even bad. I just had 10 seconds of comparison. 10 seconds, $340. I never finished any of the courses. They're still in an account I have to log into to see, which means I haven't logged in. I want to be clear about something. I don't regret being someone who tries to grow. What I regret is that the trying happened in the wallet instead of in the actual work. The work was free. The decision to do the work was free. The course was the receipt for an emotion I didn't want to sit with for one more minute on a Tuesday at 11. Now here's the thing I didn't see until day 90. Each of these 4 days isn't trying to buy a thing. Each one is trying to feel something specific. Thursday, tired is trying to feel rest. Sunday, dread is trying to feel in control of the week. Friday, reward is trying to feel relief. Tuesday, shame is trying to feel like a person who's enough. 4 feelings: rest, control, relief, enough. That's the entire bill. That's what the paycheck is being spent on. It's not disappearing into stuff. It's disappearing into emotions the wallet is being asked to deliver 4 scheduled times a week, because nothing else in the calendar is showing up to deliver them. The leak days aren't really the problem. The leak days are receipts. The problem is that rest, control, relief, and enoughness all have other delivery methods, most of them free, almost none of them as fast as a phone, and the wallet has been doing the work of all 4 because the rest of life never got organized to. The fix isn't a budget. The fix is asking, in those 4 windows, what am I actually trying to feel right now? And is there a non-wallet version of that available? Sometimes there isn't. You spend, that's fine. Often there is, though. And once you know to look for it, the leak doesn't close from discipline. It closes from awareness, which is, I think, the cheapest thing you can give yourself. Last thing, I'm not going to give you a budget framework. I'm not going to ask you to download an app. That's not what fixed this for me, and I don't think it'll fix it for you either. Here's what I'm asking. For the next 7 days, every time you buy anything, And I mean anything, the coffee, the $2 thing at a register, the stuff you wouldn't normally count. Write down 2 things in your notes app. The time, and 1 word for how you're feeling. That's it. Don't write the item. Don't write the amount. Don't analyze it. Don't change your behavior. Don't try to spend less. You're not budgeting. You're observing. 7 days, 2 pieces of information. Notes app. I know this sounds insultingly simple. It is. That's the point. The reason it works isn't that 2 pieces of information per purchase is a magic data set. It's that, by writing the time and the feeling instead of the item and the amount, you'll be paying attention to a layer of your life you've never paid attention to before. The wallet has been paying attention to items and amounts for years, and the wallet hasn't fixed anything. The wallet doesn't know what time it is, and it doesn't know how you feel. You are about to know those things. By day 4, you'll start to see something. By day 7, you'll have a rough draft of your own 4 leak days. They might not be mine. Your Thursday might be a Wednesday. Your Sunday might actually be a Monday morning. Your Friday reward might happen on a Saturday because you work weekends. Your Tuesday shame might land on Sunday night, the same time everyone else's Sunday dread is happening. That's all fine. The 4 days aren't the framework. The 4 is the framework. Almost everyone has about 4 windows a week where most of the regret money goes. Once you find yours, you can do whatever you want with the information. You can ignore it. You can adjust 2 of the 4, which is where most of the savings live. You can do nothing and just be aware, and somehow, awareness alone closes about 1/3 of the leak. When I started doing this 90 days ago, I assumed I'd find out something dramatic about myself. Some single dramatic flaw I could fix and be done with. That's not what happened. What happened is that I found out I was 4 moderately predictable people who had moderately predictable feelings at moderately predictable times of the week, and they were all spending money trying to feel slightly better. That was the whole secret. I am not a financial disaster. I'm a guy with 4 scheduled feelings I hadn't named. Once I named them, 3 of them got cheaper. The 4th one, Tuesday, is still kind of expensive, but it's expensive in a more honest way now, which I'll take. You probably have 4 too. Go find them. They're funnier than you think. Your paycheck isn't disappearing. It's being spent. On time, by appointment, by 4 versions of you nobody told you were on the calendar. Find out who they are. They're cheaper to know than to ignore. 7 days. Time and feeling. Notes app. Tell me on day 8 which of your 4 was the most embarrassing one to meet. I'll be reading the comments.